Hello, trading is closed on Monday, December 27th, 2021. We always begin with our disclaimer. This is my trading plan for Tuesday, the 28th. Please remember I can be completely wrong and all trades should be at your own risk. We had a few calls. Look for the pattern with the early low, which is this, and tomorrow should have the early high. We said if the rally was to continue unabated, we need to gap over these highs, or at least take them out promptly, and of course that's what happened. This is what we said. If it was panic selling near Friday's close, shouldn't be hard to gap over the high, but if we didn't, we should see lower prices. Well, we did. The options we had were an imminent breakthrough or a double top. We got the imminent breakthrough. We gapped over this line, which is what we needed to do. During the day, MEJT gave a signal here, was a buy, and that certainly worked, although we didn't have to go up as much as we did to satisfy the call. Well, this is a wall with a gap, and these things usually fill pretty promptly, often within a day or so, but I don't think that's the story of today's trade, and I'm not really counting on that happening. We started off with the gap we had to do was over major resistance, rallied all day long, closed at the high. Still has to be confirmed. I mean, if you gap down under this low, that doesn't mean anything. But that certainly is a strong breakthrough over resistance, although the volume did leave something to be desired. It's not the sort of action you would want to see if you're going to collapse. You've gone up 230 handles since Monday of last week, which is under 5 days of trading, which is kind of remarkable when you think of it, and I don't feel like standing in front of this. Tomorrow's pattern has the early high. Typically it's a rally day with a high in the final hour. Failure is a straight line drop. The low of day was the first 5-minute bar, high of day in the last. It's a fairly reliable indicator. Higher prices should be seen tomorrow. Only gapping down smartly kills the idea. There is a wall with gap at today's open, so it's not impossible, but certainly isn't what I'm expecting. We gapped over resistance from the prior height, what the bulls needed to do to keep us going up. Now, markets aren't supposed to top out in December. I don't think they've ever topped out in the last week of December. So the implication is we're going to see higher prices at least into January, regardless of what happens tomorrow. And that obviously puts my long-term count into question. I've always said my preferred long-term wave count wasn't the only valid one. I just thought it was the prettiest one. It's possible it will still work. We still need confirmation of today's break. If it gets reversed promptly, it doesn't really count. You could still have an irregular or expanded flat, but the odds now are the whole idea is not going to work and I'm going to have to come up with something else. It isn't killed yet, but I'm no longer expecting that to explain what's going on, which is really too bad because it was pretty, but that's why you always have to keep an eraser handy when you're doing these counts. So tomorrow has the early high. It tends to be a positive day, rally all day long, high in the final hour. Failure is a straight line drop. If you're going to get a straight line drop, which I'm not expecting at all, it's usually, not always, usually obvious pretty early. I mean, if we gap down, open down here, that could invalidate this whole move up. But it hasn't been invalidated yet. And when you rally to, but not through resistance, and then gap over resistance, you just need confirmation by hitting higher highs to imply that higher prices still are coming. Tomorrow has the early high, and that's today's call.